So in my last video, I talked about all the things that I found that I loved about Monster Hunter Rise and things that I took away from Rise that weren't necessarily in World that I still vibed with. So in this video, of course, we gotta hit World. And I'm not trying to start a Rise versus World debate, just simply let y'all know what I love from both games. And the reason why I'm using those two as examples and not something like GU or Frontier is due to the fact that these are the games that people are playing right now. These are the most current ones, and it's really like people vibe with that one or people don't vibe with that one, you know. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. So Monster Hunter World came out in January of 2018, and for a lot of people, it was their first experience of Monster Hunter. It was charming. It had a very vast looking environment, and it had different biomes which you could appreciate. That'd be the Atrid Forest, the Wildspire Waste, the Elder Recess, etc., and so on. But the biggest takeaway from World, it felt like things were larger than life. And for people that weren't familiar with the Monster Hunter franchise, this was new to them. This was a game where, unlike games like Dragon's Dogma, which came out 6 years prior to that, where it kind of gave you that similar look, but we knew, hey, this is gonna be something good. What are some things that I like about World is, again, the vastness or the perceived vastness of the world. I still get lost in Ancient Forest. I don't know my way around Ancient Forest. I'm sorry. When you start getting into those nooks and crannies and those little vines, I get lost. I'm sorry. If you want me to go up top, I can't get up there. They're going to drop me off. But another thing I like about World in particular are the weapons and armor sets. They all are vastly different from each other, whether even when you go from like low rank to high rank to master rank, whereas in Rise, it kind of felt samey, you know, until you got to like master rank. And even with that, like you had alternate versions in World too. You had the alpha set and the beta set, and I just think it's had more options. Another thing I like about World is that the collabs were a lot better, man. The Final Fantasy 14 collab, the Resident Evil collab, the Street Fighter collab, Mega Man collab, the Devil May Cry collab. Like there was a lot of things going on for it that just felt good, and it didn't feel out of place except for Mr. X. I'm looking at you. Don't turn my head into Mr. X. I don't need that.
Hello there.
It was a lot to take in, and if we're just talking, we're not even talking about Iceborne yet. Before I started again on PC, I had about 950 hours on just base Monster Hunter World, and I still didn't reach the upper like super in-game like bosses. It was just so much fun because, you know, when you got people that you want to play, you're not necessarily focus on progression. You focus on like doing fun stuff with your friends. So like Call of Tarov, which was a good fight, which was a fun raid. The Final Fantasy 14 fight, which is phenomenal as well. And different fights in there that, you know, you worked with your team or you work with your group of friends to kind of have fun and enjoy the game of Monster Hunter. You tried different builds. Like I tried a bunch of different things with my first playthrough and eventually landed on the Greatsword, which I love. But, you know, it took Rise for me to come back and actually appreciate those weapons a little bit more. Another thing that I like about World is that the turf wars were just better. They were just better, and it happened more often, it feels like. The turf wars were better. I will argue with anyone. I will stand on top of the rooftops. The cutscenes were better. The Elder Dragons were better. Hey, it is what it is, man. I like World's selection of monsters a little bit better. There's a few outliers in Rise, but World just had a better selection of monsters, in my opinion. My biggest thing about Monster Hunter World that I really vibe with over Rise is that when you hit the monster, the different hits from the different weapons, they have more impact. Even sonically, they have more impact. The monster reacts to them differently. Whereas, you know, with Rise, I felt like it was a little bit more arcadey, and you really only got to feel that impact when you play a weapon like Hunting Horn, the Hammer, or the Greatsword. And in some cases, when you got a weapon that causes a lot of stagger, like the Longsword, you know, that has a lot of parries. But that's really about it. Like the sound of the hits just sound different. The animations of the hits, the TCS on the Greatsword in World is just unmatched. Start talking about wilds, we need to gravitate more towards that, and I think we will, because we're gonna be working something that's not the Switch, something that can handle those extra animations, that extra stuff. But that's all I can think of on top of my head. Like I said, I usually freestyle these videos and I cut them up. But tell me what you guys like about World. And I love the fact that a lot of you guys are coming back to it. I play it on PC, so we reaching almost 150K playing at the same time. So I'm hoping I catch one of you guys out in the hunt on Monday here on this channel. We stream it every Monday. If you want to join the hunt, make sure you come in, join the lobby, and we run some hunts. I'm gonna keep leveling up my new characters that I made with my friends. And like I said, we'll catch y'all in the hunt. Peace.